Hey everybody, sitting here with my emotional support dog, Dia. Well, she's not a licensed emotional support dog, but in about 2 hours on the internet, I could take care of that if I wanted to. I've seen enough of that with leases. But it's been a heck of a day. It's been a heck of a week. I just got done with the second most stressful transaction I've dealt with in 9.5 years in this business. And and quite honestly, it shouldn't have been this stressful. I was on the buyer's side. I was representing a buyer. We went on a contract on a house about a month ago, and when we did the inspection, there were several items that were called out from the inspector that should be repaired. We negotiated a fairly long list. I believe there was 13 items to be repaired, including the roof, the hot water heater, some electrical issues, dishwasher. I mean, there was quite a list. And, I know that's stressful for a seller, and I know it's stressful for a listing agent. But at the end of the day, realtors need to remember, and sellers and buyers need to remember, the contract is the contract. We were not asking for anything more than was signed in the addendums, in the amendments, in the contract. And it got a little heated at the end. I ran into a similar transaction about 8 years ago when I was much newer, and I allowed myself to get much more emotional back then. And this time I just had to remember what every broker has ever told me and that I've talked to: when you have conflicts, and conflict happens when expectations differ, but the contract is the contract. What's in the contract? The seller side was a little bit upset that they had agreed in a repair amendment to replace the roof. They assumed insurance would take care of that. Insurance didn't pay as much as they wanted, and then they kind of like, well, we're just going to do the repairs. The insurance company said, no, the contract, the amendment says new roof. So I think that kind of started us out on a bad foot in some ways, but it's never with me now. Maybe I'm maturing in my old age, but I try not to take it personal. I try not to get emotional. But when you are representing a buyer or a seller, the contract is the contract. It's not what I think, what the other agent thinks, not even the intent of the buyer seller. What does the contract say? So yeah, this was a tough one. The last 3 days have been way more stressful than they ever should be on a real estate transaction, if you ask me. I know the buyer's agent, the seller's agent was a little frustrated today, but when we go for our final walkthrough after 2 weeks of all this being agreed to, we shouldn't be running into contracts or repairmen on 2 hours before closing. But hey, I'm glad it got done for all parties. I think it should be a learning lesson for everybody involved. And I'm glad I've got Dia here to give me a little emotional support. Have a great day.